Hello everybody, Aiden here, and welcome into another video on the Around the Slice Entertainment YouTube channel. So last night, episode 14 of season 2 of the Pitt, entitled 8 o'clock p.m. premiered on HBO and at HBO Max. So as always, as we do around here, I'm here to give you my biggest thoughts and takeaways and questions going forward as we discuss this crazy to say right here now, but second to last penultimate episode of the season as a whole. So with that being said, without further ado, let's dive right into it. So obviously, this is the ER, this is the ED. It's always going to be busy. They're still taking care of a few patients here and there. Some patients are still being discharged. But for the most part, considering this is a very busy 4th of July time period and day, for the most part, the day is finally, quote unquote, starting to die down, it seems, if you even want to call it that. And most doctors, at least outside Dr. Ale and Dr. Robby, are just catching up in their charting and getting and digitizing all of the paper copies back into the electronic form, electronic computers from the cyber attack for the night shift crew as they take over. And we see the day shift crew preparing everything for the night shift crew. Sure, people like Joy and Donnie to take care of his kid at home have kind of left, but for the most part, most doctors are still catching up on their charting. So I'm glad that the writers finally are giving these doctors, again, outside the main players of Dana, Dr. Ale, Dr. Robby, giving these characters outside of those big main three of the show, pillars of the show, if you would, time to breathe, time to catch up in their charting, time to chat and recap the day, and so on and so forth. Next, I want to shift over to touching on the character of Duke. When this guy came in, 4 or 5 episodes, give or take, and he was being encouraged to be checked on by Robby, and then Robby seemed very concerned. We knew that this guy was in for impending doom, and unfortunately we find out last episode that he has a heart condition. He'll have to stay at the hospital even more. So this episode, in finality, he's basically given 2 options. At this point, it's either surgery and hopefully a road to recovery, or death. Now, obviously, if it were me, I would choose surgery to fix my heart, but he seems to be toying with it. I don't want to say he's okay with death, but in his old age, he seems to be accepting the fact that, well, I don't know if I want to go through this whole surgery thing, and Duke is the only thing that would keep Dr. Robby from going on his sabbatical. And there's a lot to unpack with Robby. We'll touch that on in a minute. But Duke is the only one that not convinced Robby to stay, but Robby wants to stay back to help his motorcycle mentor, if you so please, if you so would, and friend. So it's either surgery / recovery on the road to recovery and death for Duke. It sounds like he's going to lean towards surgery because Dr. Robby is going to push him towards that angle, but we'll see. Speaking of Dr. Robby, we have to touch on the dark subject of his suicidal thoughts, because at the end of last week's episode, the very cliffhanger, when him and Dana are having their little argument spat in, which they've been having a lot of this season, multiple of even, you could say damn near, in the ambulance bay. They were yelling at each other, and then Dana says, "We'll be okay. We'll manage until you come back." And Robby goes, "Well, what if I don't come back?" I think he meant that literally, as an attempt on his life. It made me that one specific short sentence or sequence of words / quote made me very concerned for his mental health stability, or instability, lack of stability, even, if you would, in just his future outlook going forward in terms of a mental capacity. And Dana finally, I was hoping to see other characters express their concern with Robby. We saw Dr. McKay kind of subtly hand down olive branch to Dr. Robby, and Dr. Robby assured her a couple episodes ago at the end of last week's episode that he's fine. But we see Dana point blank tell Abbott, "Please check on Robby. He listens to you. I'm very concerned." And we see Dana kind of break down to Abbott, because Dr. Robby and her are obviously very close. Even though they argue a lot this season, they're very close in the ambulance bay. So yeah, I'm glad that Dana finally expressed someone, and she's right. Robby does seem to listen to Abbott, and they have a very tight relationship. And there's a lot of symbolism there, because at the very first episode, season 1, Dr. Robby literally talks Abbott off the edge in terms of don't jump, like I'm here for you. And now Dr. Abbott, on the flip side, Dana asks him to do the same for Robby. So it's very interesting how that symbolism and a turn of events, the turntables, if you will, works out like that. Speaking of Dr. Robby himself, this is a big moment for him after last week. He finally admits to someone, and it's fitting that he consoles in Duke, because Duke is his motorcycle mentor and very close friend, come to find out. He finally admits his suicidal thoughts to Duke. He basically says, oh, I don't want to be here anymore. And at first, Duke thinks, like, you don't want to be in the ER anymore? And Dr. Robby's like, basically, no, I don't want to be in this world anymore. I don't want to be on this earth anymore. If I leave, I know what's going to happen. He doesn't come out and say he's going to drive into traffic and off himself and suicide and kill himself on purpose. But us as an audience, we know after all this time, it's been leading up to this fact. So yeah, Dr. Robby, I'm glad big moment, he revealed his suicidal thoughts to Duke. So Dr. Robby, I feel like, is an internal struggle. He wants to leave because he wants to get a sabbatical started, and he feels like he has to off himself to do that. But he doesn't want to leave at the same time because he's scared to kill himself. So he wants to leave, but he doesn't want to leave. And he finally consoles in Duke. Duke will probably tell someone, maybe Duke, Dana, and Dr. Abbott all work together, join forces, if you would, to get Robby into a mental health. Maybe he works with Caleb, from what I understand, is like child hospital therapist there. So maybe that can be an avenue that they take. I want to talk about the cliffhanger at the end, because Dr. L has been spacing out for the last few episodes or so, give or take. And we now know the reason for that. Dr. L dealt with a lot of seizures, among other significant events as a child in her young adult life. It'll be very interesting to see how they handle that in the finale. I don't want to say I'm concerned about the finale, but I'm kind of nervous, and this goes to an overall kind of my dismay with the overall season. I'm kind of nervous how they wrap a bow on all these different storylines, because I'm kind of frustrated with the fact that there's a couple storylines, if you so would, there's a couple storylines that they haven't really treated properly, in my opinion, like Baby Jane Doe. Dr. L clearly has a past connection. She clearly has a past connection, maybe not that specifically, but maybe trauma with her seizures and stuff. At the end of episode 1, she reacted in a dark way to that, and that was never addressed. Early episodes, the college kid that got tased, Jackson Davis, he has alluded to the fact that he has schizophrenia now, diagnosed with schizophrenia. That doesn't go anywhere. And then the water slide thing as well, towards the middle of the season, a handful of episodes ago, that didn't really need to be there either. So there's just a lot of minor. I'm glad that they're focusing on the day shift and night shift working together. And I'm glad that they're focusing on Dr. Robby finally consoling in certain people, aka Duke, in terms of his mental health battle and struggle. But there's just a couple storylines that I'm nervous we won't ever get the finality and answers on, if you would, in the final episode. Those are just my personal concerns. Again, talking about the cliffhanger, I'm glad, powerful writing that they, literally and figuratively, until the very end, they're working with these cliffhangers, which is great. But I feel that they could have addressed that Dr. L situation a few episodes earlier. We could have sat with that for the last 3 episodes, give or take, at minimum, at the very least. But now we got to cram all these things in at the very last episode. So because of that, I think I'm going to give episode 14 of season 2 of The Pitt, once again entitled 8 o'clock p.m., a 9 out of 10. I thought it was very good. Big step for Robby, and then big step for Dana asking for Abbott's help to address Robby, and then Duke and Robby's relationship growing even stronger with confiding in each other. But I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 just because I'm a little nervous heading into the family for all of those reasons I mentioned. But again, that's just an overall season thing. So anyway, 9 out of 10. Oh, sorry about that. Please let me know down in the comments below if you don't have a score. Were you frustrated by anything about this episode? Are you nervous a bit about the finale last week? Next week, like I am? Let me know all that down in the comments below. You can follow me on Twitter /X at @AWeingartner13 for any additional TV show, /movie thoughts, discussions, and opinions over there for what this channel's got going on. A shit ton. And I'm so excited. We have 1 episode of The Pitt left next Thursday night. We have, after the other day, every Thursday we're going to have The Boys on this channel, season 5. Every Wednesday on this channel we're going to have Daredevil Born Again. season 2 with those episode thoughts. And then Euphoria season 3 premieres in just a couple days. I'm so excited saying this out loud. And then we move over to the big blockbuster Marvel series of X-Men 97 season 2 this summer. And then the 3 blockbuster movies of Toy Story 5, but more importantly, Supergirl, and hyped out of my mind for the Spider-Man Brand New Day movie, obviously. Oh, in May, I forgot the Punisher special. Damn, there's a lot going on. I could be forgetting some as well. But anyway, this is a golden age of television for the next 1 or 2 months, couple months, 2 or 3 months or so. Anyways, guys, it's going to be a blast. Like and subscribe to the channel for all that, plus more on a near daily basis at this point for everything I just explained. Please share this video and channel with anyone and everyone you know. Once again, I'd love to interact with you down in the comments about this show or any others, and maybe put some shows on my radar that I may not be covering. I know I'm forgetting some. Anyways, guys, thank you for the support as always. I'll see you next time in the next one. Goodbye.